Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. Forsaken and the 2.0 update are just over 2 months away. We still have lots of questions about how some of the new changes will be implemented into the game and what it means for players that maybe don't own Forsaken. A lot of features that are being introduced will be made available to all players, but of course leave it to Bungie to make things a little bit more complicated than it perhaps needs to be. We got confirmation this past week that random rolls won't be coming to old weapons, despite it being listed as a feature that is independent of the Forsaken release and should be available to all players. So what is really going on here? Let's get into it. Alright, so first we got some clarification on weapon slots and random rolls through a couple of interviews that I'll go ahead and leave links to down below, but Scott Taylor, the game's producer, did confirm that weapons will still drop as pre-designated to kinetic, energy, and power, and that won't be changing. The change will be that special weapons, i.e. shotguns, snipers, and fusions, will now be thrown into the pool of kinetic and energy weapons instead of power as they've been up to now. So you can think of it as making the alternative change from D2 launch, where special weapons were grouped into the power slot. Now they're grouped into kinetic and energy. So basically, you'll find a kinetic shotgun and it will always be a kinetic shotgun. It will take green bricks, mind you, but it'll be kinetic and it'll be in your kinetic slot. If you find an energy sniper, it will always be an energy sniper, so it'll always be in your energy slot. It will still take green bricks because it's special. And if you missed my explanation of how ammo will work with the new weapon slots, definitely check out my video on that. I'll leave the link down below. Now, with that update out of the way, let's move on to the topic of the hour. We were given confirmation that Year 1 weapons will not be utilizing the randomized roll system coming later this year. So if you find a Better Devils after September, it will still drop with static rolls, i.e. it will always have explosive payload. I'm not a fan of this. Why limit the possibilities? I'll speak on that more in just a minute, but the confusion comes with the developer roadmap that lists randomized rolls as a coming feature with 2.0, and it's been confirmed multiple times that everything on the roadmap will be available to all players regardless of DLC ownership, so you don't have to have Forsaken to take advantage of the features on the roadmap, the one that you're looking right in front of you. Well, it turns out that Year 1 weapons will remain the same with the exception of the impending weapon slot shuffle, but the way random rolls will be available to everyone is through event weapons. So the new weapons that are awarded during next season's faction rallies, Iron Banner, these are the weapons that will continue to be available to everyone and will feature random rolls. That way, if you don't have Forsaken, you can still get a little taste. So, you know, a little weird, a little shifty, but, you know, we got some clarification, and it does technically belong on the roadmap if it is going to be available in some way to all players. So, I think this sheds some really interesting insight into how it will all come together. Unfortunately, details are scarce about what the new weapon inspection screen will look like, but I think it's safe to assume that the weapons will simply drop with random rolls exactly like how they did in Destiny 1. The creators that attended the summit revealed last week that Bungie approached them with a compromise for random rolls where the weapons would still drop with static rolls except for one extra perk at the end that would be random. The creators immediately hated this and shut down the idea, so Bungie canned it, but that does give us some information that it is likely that the weapons will feature completely randomized rolls, and that feature will be, of course, making its comeback. This means that everything should be randomly rolled, including sights, ballistics, stock, magazine, etc., and of course the trait itself. So, I believe that this will be completely separate from the new mod system, which Scott Taylor in the same interview confirmed will be a vast departure from the current system in place. We also know that the new mod system will be available to everyone as well. So while your old Better Devils will be stuck in its static rolls, it's possible that you'll get an enhanced experience with the new mod systems, assuming that this line item is also not riding the technicality of it being only applied to event weapons. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see. Now moving on to another piece of news. If you do in fact like your Better Devils the way it has also been confirmed that it will scale up with you in power if you so choose. Scott Taylor confirmed this and assured us that it will be expensive within the economy, but it is possible. Now, this kind of sounds like what they did with Ascension in Destiny 1 Year 1, where it cost a very rare item that you could essentially obtain only once a week called Etheric Light. Now, we all ended up with giant piles of Etheric Light by the end, but at the start, where we all wanted it the most, it was rare, and that was an example of something that was expensive inside the economy. Now, it could be something as simple as needing to cost, let's say, 100 legendary shards, but my question is, why? Why will it cost anything more than usual to move it into Year 2? Is that just it? Am I upgrading it to be a Year 2 or Forsaken version of the gun? And if that's the case, what does it mean for Year 1 exotics? Are we going to need to repurchase them from Xur or spend a lot of materials to upgrade them to Year 2? I really hope not, because that would honestly be very obnoxious. Now, of course, we still don't have any information on how all of this will shake out, but just to expand on my thoughts on the topic of static rolls, I really think they should open it up to all Year 1 weapons as well. It's a little strange that they're not doing it, to be honest. Almost everyone is having a negative reaction to this news. I'm sure Forsaken will bring loads of new weapons and armor, but I'd love to see if any of the Year 1 weapons can be made better with different traits. The Does Not Compute Scout Rifle is an example of a gun that is almost amazing, but I think could be made incredible with something like Triple Tap or Dragonfly. It would be really cool to be able to explore that, not to mention for those who are not purchasing Forsaken and you want to sell them on the new systems. I really hope Bungie sheds some more light onto this decision very quickly, or better yet, reverse it and make everyone happy, assuming of course it is a simple thing for them to toggle on and off. Hopefully, all of the new Forsaken loot is amazing and we don't have to worry about it, but another concern this also raises is with planetary vendors. We see that Shaxx and Zavala are up with the times with snazzy new weapons, but what about Devrim? What about Sloan? Failsafe? Are they getting new loot? I really hope so. And if they are, where are players that don't have Forsaken going to get their weapons from? We already have confirmation that Year 1 weapons will continue to drop after the expansion, but I know that I'm going to be only interested in the new weapons with random rolls. Hopefully the game is smart enough to know whether or not you have Forsaken, that way I can still play older content and get new rewards. That would be very essential. So, a lot of questions, a lot Bungie has to answer. My concern is that there's almost too much to answer. Hopefully we'll learn more very soon. I think a few more streams might be needed, and if we do get some more streams, please Bungie, lead the conversation with random rolls, mods, and Year 1 weapons. Clear the dirt so we can lean back and enjoy all the pretty lights, and let us get genuinely hyped for September. Anyways, as always, I want to know what you think. Do you think random rolls should come to every weapon in the game? Do you think the live event weapons are enough to give players that don't have Forsaken a taste of what they could get if they got Forsaken? Let's discuss. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more Destiny content. And I will see you all next time.